From the world of AV programming and control with James King, I'm Steve Greenblatt, and this is Ask the Programmer. James, how are you today? It's good to be back for another exciting episode.
Always great to be back, but doing well. And yourself, Steve?
Doing well. You and I, it's not in real time, but we're able to record on the State of Control podcast. So be on the lookout for that as well, coming up in September, and hopefully you'll get to hear James and I in a different setting. So before we get in too much deeper, I'd like to welcome our guest, a returning guest, somebody who reached out to us to be on another time. So we must be doing
Award-winning guest.
something right. And yes, she is an award-winning guest from Q-SYS, the self-proclaimed Q-SYS Wizard. It's Hope Roth. Welcome back, Hope.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for
I
being
didn't give
here.
you any choice.
No, hey, anytime somebody reaches out to us and says, I want to be on, you got it. So you just keep
Yeah,
doing that.
that
And
simple.
Your
Hope,
families will be released in 1 to 2 business days.
that's right. So Hope, if you want to catch her previous episode, which we highly recommend, she was on episodes 164 and 165, and she was talking about a smart dollhouse, very cool project with the Girl Scouts. So check that out. But today, and on the last episode that she was on, she teased this. We're going to talk a little bit about mentorship because Hope is involved in WAVIT. It's a women's group for AV and IT, and they're announcing a mentorship program. So Hope, tell us a little bit about really why mentorship is important, and share maybe a personal experience with mentorship.
Yeah, so unfortunately, the personal experience I have is I really could have used a mentor. It ended up working out in my favor because that's how I ended up in our industry. But I went to school for computer science and also didn't have a ton of money, so I had to work my summers. And I worked for my dad. He owns a screen printing company, so I spent my summers working in an unair conditioned building next to a 900-degree dryer, and then graduated into a recession and was not able to find a job in software development. The only classmates of mine who were able to find work after they graduated were the ones who had done internships. And, someone said, well, I said, well, everyone wants 5 years of experience. I literally just graduated. How are you supposed to do that? And they were like, well, you get the experience by doing internships. And I said, yeah, I needed the money. And they're like, well, you can get paid for an internship, right? It's like, oh, now you tell me, right? I could have been in a cool building drinking coffee and like learning stuff. And instead I was folding t-shirts. And um so, that's how I sort of ended up in IT and then moving over into AV and eventually becoming a control programmer. And, it worked out well for me. I wouldn't change anything just because I have a great life and I love what I do. But there are so many options for people that they sometimes don't even know about. So if you have a mentor, they can tell you things like, oh, you should be doing an internship right now.
Absolutely. I could, hold off on sharing a couple of my experiences because I want to see if James wants to chime in on that. Um, where do you see where do you see mentors playing in either your career path or the career path of others that you work with?
Oh, I think Hope kind of nailed it there. Mentors really help you steer the ship as you're going down your path. Um, so I'll admit, I really didn't have a mentor. I would say probably until really late in my career. I had no one really looking out for me or helping me or giving me advice, and no one I can lean on. Um, where I actually found my path, and this is one thing I will plug, is higher ed, be a student worker. And that's not a mentorship and not really an internship, but it's a paid job where you can get skills. My student workers are I'm happy, but I'm also sad. I'm losing a lot of my student workers because they're now getting full-time jobs from what they learned from working with us. And it's like, all right, now I got to replace them. which I understand that happened. I'm glad that they're getting full-time jobs, but now I got to retrain them.
But I mean, don't sell yourself short. You've been mentoring them all, right? This whole time. I bet, it hasn't even occurred to you some of the times that you've mentioned some things offhand that have helped them, right? Like, I know you've asked me questions on the side about, I have someone who's interested in this. Can you steer me in that direction? And so you're able to be that person who tells them the stuff that they don't even know that they don't know, or to provide networking to them. Like, I know you've told me you've introduced people to, some of the WAVIT members that I know and love. That's mentorship right there. You just hadn't put a label on it.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I'll let me clarify. I mean, like I don't feel like I got mentor, and I'm trying to be that person for my student workers to provide that guidance, like here how you can go further. This is what you want to look for, all that stuff. But yeah, now great point there, Hope.
Yeah, I was going to actually try to bring that out as well, as I think a mentor relationship can be formal, and it can be something where you have a title, and it's something that where it starts with intent, but it could also be informal, where it's just somebody that you find you work well with and that has knowledge about things that you want to learn, and perhaps you're trading knowledge about things that mentorships go both ways, in my opinion. I had I did I was a formal mentor to another business owner a few years ago, and we did that for probably about 2 years, and I probably learned a good amount is in talking with him as he learned from me. So there's a lot you can gain just by putting yourself out there and sharing. And if you, it doesn't have to be just a one-way relationship. I think that mentees give back, and whether it's done purposefully or not.
Yeah, 100%. I worked with a junior programmer for years, and I'd like to think that I was a mentor for her, but I learned a lot from her as well. The younger generation, they have so many ideas, they have so much enthusiasm. Working with people who are up and coming kind of can give you a little more energy. It can you can learn some new tricks from them, and they can explain what skibbity toilet means, and all of that. So, um,
Is from your perspective, have you had more than one mentor? Like, have you had different mentors for either different things or different parts of your career?
yeah, I've been really fortunate. I think we come from a really sort of caring industry where people want to help each other out. It's an industry that attracts people who are interested in just sort of making things work. And so making things work can be, I have the cable in my bag that will get us up and running because we need an adapter, but it can also be, let me show you how to pin out this cable. Let me show you how to do this. Um, so I've never had a formal mentor, um, but I've had a lot of really great women in the industry who have sort of taken me under their wings and helped me out a lot. So I think pretty much everyone of us considers Corey Schaefer to be sort of the grand mentor of them all. She's the one that helped me get my current job. She's the one that's been the biggest cheerleader, but also champion for so many of us. And she's never been shy about giving people suggestions, but in like a really loving and supportive way. So, and then in my current role, I'm actually really fortunate to work with a lot of women, which is pretty rare for our industry. There's just a lot of women at Q-SYS. And so I feel like I'm learning a lot from a lot of the women I work with. So, I'm able to bring up a situation and ask for advice or for feedback. And there's been some just really great friends and mentors who are able to help me work through, you know, just those little situations where you don't want to make a big deal about something, or something feels quite a little bit off, or even just, oh, I've never dealt with this before. I don't know how to handle this. And it can be really great to have somebody to just be a sounding board, you know?
Hmm. So with that said, what are, if somebody is saying to themselves like, either I think I could be a good mentor, or I think I could benefit from a mentor. What would be some qualities that would be looked for? What type of mindset do you need, or what skills, or what, I think there are some people that look at it as kind of being daunting, but it doesn't have to be that way, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that it's a formal program can make it seem a little intimidating for people, especially if you're already dealing with some sort of imposter syndrome of like, oh, I don't know, who wants to learn from me? Or even like, oh, I don't know, who wants to take the time for me? I think it starts with just saying I'm worthy of being listened to, or I'm worthy of having someone to listen to. The mentorship program is open to anybody in the industry. They can sign up for it by going to the WAVIT website. There's a We tried to make the questionnaire as easy as possible to also get at sort of the heart of the matter. So you can say which vertical you're in. You say if you have a goal. So it's great to come into mentorship with a goal, like, I want to get promoted in the next 2 years. I want to, figure out what my next career step is, something like that. But it could even just be, I graduated from college last spring, and I'm overwhelmed, and I need someone to, help me figure some things out. That's a goal too.
I like
Uh,
that.
so have a goal, have a desire to learn, or to help somebody else learn. Come and sign up. Um, you can say, where you work, what vertical you're in, what time zone you're in, when you prefer to meet. So, we're not going to match you with someone that you can only meet at like, 2 in the morning. We're going to be thoughtful about not matching you with coworkers or competitors. It is a dual opt-in process.
Mhm.
So, you both have to sort of agree to that match, kind of dating game style, I guess. And honestly, most of us could benefit from both, right? I mean, unless you're a year away from retirement or just walked in off the street, every single one of us could use a mentor and could be a mentor. So, the thing I've said to people who aren't sure how much they have to offer as a mentor is, think about yourself from 2 years ago. Are there things that you would tell yourself now that you have learned in the last 2 years? If there are, then you probably have, some good things to say and to help somebody with that. And hey, if you have enough time, sign up for both, right? Mentor the next generation, and then we've got some real powerhouse women who've signed up already. Take advantage of having someone who's really great at her job give you suggestions.
What does the time commitment look like?
So that is actually another one of the questions that we ask is, when would you like to meet? So weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever works best for your schedule. I think it's important for people to take time for this. So ideally you work for an employer that would just sort of let you have that hour in your week. Not all of us have that advantage. So you could always just say, oh, I got to meet off hours or something like that. So we are going to be matching people with others who want to meet at that same cadence. And then we are going to have some sort of controls built into it as well. So we'll sort of have mentors for our mentors, if you will, who can check in and say, have you been meeting? How is it going? How can I help you? That sort of thing.
That's excellent. I like that a lot. James, do you know anybody that you think could benefit for something like this? And, from a programmer's perspective, the people who hopefully are listening to this show, what type of advice would you give them?
Um, People who could benefit from this, everybody. I mean that. Sure. Even myself, I'll put it out there. I'm actually probably going to look at the site and signing up myself. Everyone can benefit from a mentor and being uh, a mentor as well. because you're just going to better the industry, better yourself. So definitely, it's for everybody. And I'm sorry, Steve, what was the second part of that question?
I guess for those listening to our podcast, what do you think they can gain from something like this?
Oh, there's wealth of things that can gain from a mentorship, as Hope was really explaining. Like, just clear vision. Like, we all have a lot of things in our head, and sometimes you just need to talk to somebody and talk it out. And a good mentor will give you candid feedback. They're not going to sugarcoat it for you. Like, if you say, I want to join the circus and become a clown, and they know that you can't be a clown, they're going to be like, hey, no, knock it off. Go back to programming. You're not a clown. Um, so that's what a good mentor is going to do, keep you on the right path and get things going the right way.
Yeah, if I think about it, another couple of experiences that I've had, I don't think that I've ever had a formal mentorship um, relationship. I have used coaches, and that's similar, but those are paid. But with regard to a mentor, I think I don't necessarily know that I knew I would what mentoring was when it was happening. But if I look back now, I know that I've been mentored by people. In fact, and I say this a lot, is Tim Albright I look at as a mentor for podcasting. If it wasn't for him, I've learned a lot by just following his lead. And we don't necessarily, it wasn't anything formal, and it wasn't anything that I asked him. I just looked up to him in doing this, and had learned from him in that regard. But I think the AV industry as a whole is a word of mouth industry. There's only so much you're going to learn from either a book or a course or training. You have to learn it from other people. So mentorship's a great way of getting a head start. And one of the things that I also really like from my perspective is somebody who has moved from the technical side to the business side, is that mentorship is universal. It's not just saying technical. It's not saying that you don't have to be stuck in one capacity. And the fact that you are looking at it from a goal standpoint, I think is really big. So that these are all great things to for people to get excited about.
Yeah, thank
Oh,
you for
yeah. And
saying that. Oh,
yeah,
go
no,
ahead.
that's good. Oh, I was just gonna say I was in the same boat, see, but like I had mentors, none official, like Tim, Albright being one, Joe, yourself, see. Like, I take a lot of leadership stuff from you and other people, Aaron and you know, or Aaron Moran, our first guest. She's awesome. The person I take advice from and lean on, and even Hope, like, I mean, we may not have visual conversation, but seeing her posts helps guide me of what I want to do and stuff. So again, those unofficial ones happen all the time and we don't know it.
Did you want to add to that, Hope?
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, it's a real networking based industry in terms of social networking. And I think it's really important that we help to bring people along who might not necessarily have benefited as much from that. So that's why it's really helpful to reach out to women and say, let's get you a mentor. Let's help you find out what you don't know. Let's identify career opportunities for you. Because, someone might my biggest example is, a lot of people get promoted up from project management, even from warehouse, working in the warehouse, things. But no one ever thinks about the fact that the office manager, who is usually a woman, has to know a little bit about everything that goes on in a business, right? They're often sitting up at the front, they talk to everybody, they process everybody's paperwork. They don't ping that, oh, we could take you to that next step sort of thought process in a lot of people's heads. If someone like that had a mentor, she might be able to say, oh, I could run this office someday. I'm basically already running this office, nothing works without me. let's figure out how to get that next step up.
Absolutely. The other thing too is it's a great way to train somebody to do the role that you are doing so you can move on and promote and get promoted. So that's a great way of looking at it as well.
Yeah, rising tide lifts all boats, right? Like if we as an industry do better in general, it's better for all of us.
Hmm. Well, that's probably a good place for us to wrap this one up, but I highly encourage our audience and even those who may listen to this outside of the programming world to listen to Hope, to digest these stories and check out WAVIT, especially women who are looking for a community and a place to belong. I know so many people in the organization, and it's all very successful, very giving, and very accomplished people. So, um, Hope, how can people learn more about WAVIT, learn more about the mentorship program, and then also get in touch with you?
Yep. So WAVIT is Women in AVIT. It's, I believe, wavit.org. If you go to our website, you can learn more about our organization. There's lots of different ways to get involved. If you're interested in joining the mentorship program, it should be right there in the top bar. Please sign up. We're able to make better matches and more matches, the bigger the pool we have to pull from. Always looking for sponsors. So if someone is interested in sponsoring the mentorship program, please reach out. And then I'm not on social media as much as I used to be, but I'm on LinkedIn and Q-SYS communities for developers.
And a good tease for what we're going to talk about in the next episode. So stay tuned. James, how can people get in touch with you and keep up with what you're doing and continue this conversation?
Again, if you're looking for me, I'm on X, Twitter, whatever we're calling it, at AV_James King. I'm on LinkedIn, anything with HEPMA. Again, if you Google me, you'll find me.
Excellent. And for me, you can reach me at Steve Greenblatt on social media, my company, Control Concepts, at controlconcepts.net. And Control Concepts is a supporter of this podcast, and we develop the building blocks that programmers can leverage to either interface with products or do more, get more out of their control programming. So check that out when you visit our website. And for this podcast, you can get the video version on YouTube, the audio version on your favorite podcast player, and we'd like to hear from you. So please share your favorite episode and let us know what you think. Leave us a rating or review or comment. And also, very important, join our group on LinkedIn, the Ask the Programmer group, where we will be doing more to build community for AV programmers. And we will also highlight the WAVIT Mentorship Program. So check that out there as well. And with that, this has been Ask the Programmer.